Meow. Hey, Adam, what is this? Why do we have babies on screen? What am I looking at here?
Well, I went back to kind of look at the old debate to kind of brush up for debate night, and I found this baby Trump versus baby Biden.
Why? Why did you find this? How did you find this?
And it seemed more interesting
Uh-huh.
than just brushing up with the old Trump versus Biden. So let's watch a little bit of this baby debate from 2020.
Okay.
Here will leave, and plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look, we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't booming.
He blew it.
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery since 1929.
Is it fair to say?
Okay, this is so amazing on so many levels.
I know.
This is so good. This is so good. But here's the problem. Like, this will actually help Biden because
he looks younger.
Yeah, well, because he looks younger, right? But like the face filter covers up or will cover up like his like kind of glazing off into the distance and like his like squinty eyes and all that other stuff.
Won't it kind of go with the toddler vibe? I mean, toddlers are kind of that way, right? They stare off into space.
That's true. This would actually, he should have Biden's team should have asked for this, like, as one of the requirements for the debate. They have to have, like, a baby filter over everything.
This is amazing when they fight, too, because there's a lot of back and forth in this debate. They just look like children, literally.
Literally.
He blew it when fact, when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Excuse
me, Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take... No, you're on number two.
No.
Chris. They said it would take a miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing. Part of my standard fare.
I'm the guy that brought back the automobile industry.
All right, let him.
We brought back. I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
Car companies came in from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not having.
And they didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
It really matches like when Biden mumbles, like the baby face. It makes it seem like it makes sense all of a sudden. You're like, oh, because he's like a little baby. He's just mumbling.
Where's the stand back and stand by? We need to get the transcript on this.
Oh, I love it.
Stand back and stand by.
For Thursday, you got to be able to like set this up so that
With
we can do it live.
The baby faces?
Yeah, the live baby faces.
Oh my God. Wouldn't it be incredible? I don't think I don't have a baby face filter for mine. How would you like them on fire?
No, that's lame. I want babies.
I know. Babies is where it's
Babies! You made them babies! There's a reference. Okay, let's see. I found it.
Oh, you did? Where is it? What's it at?
I got it here.
He is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a name.
White supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
Did you see Biden smile? Like Biden,
I did.
Biden knew he fucked up when he said that.
He did.
Tell you what, somebody's got to do something.
Biden is like, oh, that's going to be a headline tomorrow.
It is, and it was. It was. I forgot that they had this chyron at the bottom. Are you willing to condemn white supremacists and militia groups?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
They were out to get him. Look, Biden knows. Look at sneaky little baby Biden there.
Sneaky baby Biden.
He looks like he just dropped something in his drawers. Oh.
At least he just snuck a cookie away from mommy.
Yeah. Look at this. He's like, we tricked you. Me and the entire mainstream media tricked you.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, Trump really should have been prepared for that. Like, had a better response. That's such a terrible response.
Who do you want me to condemn? Who do you want me to condemn? Just name them. I'll condemn them all. Line them up. I'll condemn everyone.
Right. Proud Boys. Condemn them. No, stand down and stand by.
Stand back and stand by.
Not a good one.
That doesn't sound like condemning to me.
So what do you think's going to be the attempted
gotcha
moment in this debate?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, it's definitely going to be something along the lines of the white supremacist thing, because look, Biden is still hitting that white supremacist number. Oh, it's going to be like around January 6th. That's it. Is it true that you want to overthrow democracy? They're going to bring up, remember when Trump shared that tweet about him being president forever? They're going to bring that tweet up.
Well, yes. Okay. That's a good point. So they're going to ask about Trump being president forever.
Was this tweet a joke?
Yes. They're going to ask about that. All right. So that's going to be an attempt. What's like the last Trump racism that he did? Or racism accusation, I should say, that he did.
He's killing it with Latinos now. His numbers are up for Latinos and black voters. I mean, so they're going to want to hit him with that. But I mean, doesn't the white supremacist kind of hit him with that? I don't know what his most recent racism is.
Chat, what was like the last racisms that they threw at Trump?
You mean alleged racism?
Alleged
what are you
racism.
Doing?
Thank you. Because I mean, this one like every week, so I don't remember them.
Yeah. These are real racisms, though, Sitch. I mean, you understand that, right?
Oh, okay.
I watch David Pakman's channel. I know real racism when I see it.
Right. Yeah, we do need a bingo card.
Are there any other good moments in here that we can skip to?
There was a couple. I don't remember. It's been so long.
I know.
About Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing.
Look up the Hunter Biden stuff when he calls Hunter Biden a drug addict. Remember that?
No, wait, that happened in this debate?
Yeah. Yes. And
I forgot that.
And Biden talks about, oh, my son has a mild drug problem and I love him. I'm helping him work through that. I mean, he's only rifled through my wallet a few times.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what his FBI director said.
That's so bad. That's so
it is,
dumb.
but look, Biden totally got away with it. The mainstream media didn't. The mainstream media was like, Antifa is an idea, not an organization. They ran with that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we covered this, and I remember saying like, "Oh, that's so retarded." But yeah, you're right. Like the mainstream media totally let him fly with that one, because that was the narrative. You know, during this time period, it was like, "Oh, you can't listen. Don't attack Antifa. Don't attack the BLM. Rioters. It's just an idea. They're just bad actors."
Those are our voters.
Well, then you know what?
No, we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
When a bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in your administration tells
you. When they hit you over the head, it's not an idea.
That's a pretty good retort.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good retort. But see, this is the issue that like because the expectations for Biden are so low.
I know.
Even if he says a bunch of things that are like lies or not true or stupid, it doesn't matter as long as he's like cogent enough. So,
I know. That's all he has to do.
Yep.
All he has to do is make it 90 minutes and he's good to go. Is this the Biden?
Or I think this is the Hunter Biden.
Oh, nice.
The Hunter Biden part.
More divided. The nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and being and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Hunter?
I'm talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Beau. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. Once you became vice president, he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
that is simply
and various
not
other places.
True.
He made a fortune.
My son.
And he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why was he given tens of millions of dollars?
But he wasn't given tens of millions of dollars. That is totally,
President Trump. We've already been through.
I feel like the baby Trump filter, sometimes it just looks like that's just his face.
Like normal Trump.
It looks like normal Trump. Like the Biden one very clearly looks like altered, but the Trump one just kind of bleeds into itself.
He needs he should have called him the big guy. What's up, big guy? The big guy.
Trump should have called Biden the big guy.
I guess none of all those memes kind of go over the public's head anyway. They would know what he was saying with the big guy.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Every right winger would know what he means, though.
Well, okay, so now that would be an interesting question to ask during the debate too. You know, have you profited from Hunter Biden, or has Hunter Biden given you money, for access? And, what did he mean when he wrote the, 10% the big guy thing? That'd be an interesting question.
Who is the big guy in Hunter Biden's emails?
Who is the big guy? Is it Biden?
Is it you? Is it baby Biden? Is it diaper baby Biden?
Okay. Phil that remains for $20 says, great title. I never clicked a link so fast. Look at that.
Really?
Look at that. Thank you, Phil. That was some masterful clickbait from Adam, because I don't even know if we're going to make fun of leftists particularly in this stream.
Oh, really?
Unless you guys have any ones that you want to pull
Send
up
us some
to
leftists. We'll make fun of them.
So yeah.
Look, Antifa is just an idea, guys.
Yeah. So G-Nair Penguin for $5 says, the only number Thursday's debate is going to change the number of people with a drinking problem. Any drinking game should be done in sips. True.
Oh, yeah.
True. And thank you, Libertarian Sasquatch. You gave $2, but whatever your message was, you retracted it before I even saw it. So,
what's up?
Okay. So, there's two things that I saw interesting today. If you guys see anything that was interesting today that you want us to talk about, send it our way, because and we'll look at it. Because the only thing I really saw today that kind of struck my eye, was kind of interesting, is there's a woman named, maybe I should start screen sharing here.
I have it up. The Julia Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's already sharing, so I see what you see. Yeah.
Okay. That was paused, so here, let me hide this stupid controls. Okay. So this Julia Kelly person, who I see because I follow Scott Adams, and Scott Adams retweets his personal. Yeah, I know. And so I thought, maybe get out of here. Okay. I thought maybe it'd be interesting to go through sort of the investigative research, process together, even though I kind of already did it. So Julie Kelly tweeted out, holy shit, special counsel Jack Smith just admitted the FBI added cover sheets to alleged classified documents found at MAL, that's Mar-a-Lago, and took photos for evidence. This confirms my report from last month that the FBI doctored evidence to produce stunt photos of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Now,
stunt photos. Wow.
Yeah. So this is the picture that they're talking about. Everyone saw this picture, right?
Yeah. Look at this.
All this stuff with the top secret, stuff laid about. Okay. So go back to Julie for a second. So she has a screenshot this is a filing from special counsel Jack Smith in documents case. It says, this is what we see. It says, they used pre-printed classified cover sheets for initial placeholder sheets until they ran out of them, having not anticipated finding so many classified documents. At that point, the team began using blank sheets of paper with handwritten annotations to identify the document. The information generally included the document title, classification level, the description of the subject matter, document identification number, and or dates in the document. Some of these descriptions of the documents may themselves be classified or may be classified in conjunction with the classification markings. And then they highlighted, as part of the processing of seized documents marked classified, ERT photographed the documents with appropriate cover sheets added by FBI personnel Next to the box in which they were located, the photographs attached as Exhibit 8 are examples. Okay. So right there, that's the key point. FBI added appropriate cover sheets, right? So you read that and you say, oh my God, did the FBI attach the cover sheets to this famous picture? Is this famous picture fake, right? And so that's what I wanted to investigate. So I did this Google search, FBI Mar-a-Lago classified documents, cover sheets, and I set the date because the idea is that we want to go back to when this information first came out. Because honestly, 2 years ago, I don't remember really how this was reported. Because for all we know, they could have reported at the time that they put the cover sheets on it, right? Which would kind of mean that there wasn't anything. So we want to go back. I want to see, did they say they put the cover sheets on? Were the cover sheets part of the story? Was that important? Blah, blah, blah. So I found this article. This is from August 31st, 2022. So it's in the correct timeline. It says a photo shared by the DOJ of materials recovered at Mar-a-Lago clearly show documents labeled top secret with distinctive cover sheets that are hard to miss. Now, this is very important. This headline is very important because it says photo shared by the DOJ. Because part of the claim here, which would be completely legitimate, is how did this photo even get out? Did the DOJ leak it? Did the FBI leak it to the press in order to smear Trump? Because I would agree that if the DOJ put those cover sheets there that we all see, if they place these cover sheets on top of this stuff and then they took a picture and then they gave it to the press, like that would seem like it's all intended to drum up publicity against Trump, all right? Like that would seem like kind of like a shitty thing to do.
Stump photo.
Right, exactly. And here we have a headline where it talks about the distinctive cover sheets are hard to miss. So that means that the cover sheets themselves are part of the story. So if the FBI added them, that would be a big deal.
Well, does it say in the story though?
Well, let's find out. This image contained in the court filings by the Department of Justice on August 30th, 2022, and redacted in part by the FBI show a photo of documents seized during the August 8th search by the FBI former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. So this actually has important information for one of the questions we want. It says this image contained in a court filing by the Department of Justice. Okay. So what that means is, and I'll show you in a second.
Yeah.
This photo was not leaked to the press. It was not given as any sort of press thing. It was part of a court filing.
Right. And the press got a hold of it from the court. Right.
Now,
courts are public documents.
Exactly. Now you could say, well, they still could have put some like BS picture in the court filing because they know the press is going to pick it up, right?
Sure.
So you can still say that. This is an argument.
Stunt.
But okay. I guess it'll be a stunt, but it's important. Okay. So let's see what the article says. It says a photo shared by the Department of Justice gave a glimpse in the materials the FBI seized during a raid on former President Donald Trump's Florida club and residence on August 8th, including documents clearly labeled top secret with color-coded cover sheets. Okay. So we already have in the first paragraph that at least the writer of this article is working under the impression that the cover sheets were what found by the FBI, right?
Right. Yeah.
The photo, which was shared in a court filing on Tuesday, showed a large pile of documents strewn across the floor in an unidentified location. At least half a dozen documents included the brightly colored cover sheets that are used by the federal government to denote what level of security clearance is needed to review the given document. So again, this article is claiming that the cover sheets were found by the FBI, were not placed by the FBI. An insider has previously reported...
It could be either way, though. It doesn't say specifically. I mean, the government is obviously going through the documents. They could be adding them after the fact. It doesn't... That sentence could be read either way.
The photo... Oh, I guess you're right. Okay, you're right. Yeah. You're correct. But it would lead the reader, I think, to the impression that those cover sheets were there when they found them, right? Like, if the FBI added them, they should say that.
Yeah, it should say, added during the search or...
Right.
I mean, it makes it seem more nefarious if Donald Trump is scooping up documents that are clearly labeled top secret. That's the rub here.
Right. Like, even if they didn't have the cover sheet like Trump wouldn't be absolved of the crime or anything. But if there's a giant cover sheet that says top secret, it makes it more like, well, you knew it was top secret. Like you can't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Insider has previously reported, blue cover sheets are used to label confidential documents. Red is used to label secret documents. Orange is used to label top secret documents. For example, visible in the photos of the Mar-a-Lago materials were 5 documents with yellow cover sheets that were labeled top secret SCI, which means sensitive compartmented information, which denotes a further restriction of who among the group in the case with top secret clearance can view the document. At least one document with a red-ish orange cover sheet is labeled secret SCI.
None of this
So,
gives the pertinent information, whether they were there beforehand.
well, this is making it all seem like the FBI found these documents with the cover sheets there.
Right. Well, yeah. Look, you could read it either way. It's
Right,
one
but
of
I think,
those things. Is it a B or is it a 13? Is it
but
a
you
duck
wouldn't
or
even,
is it a rabbit?
right, but you wouldn't even know, like when you read this article, unless someone told you, you wouldn't even think to assume that the FBI added those after the fact, based on the way that article is written, right?
I
You'd very
mean,
clearly think that they found them with these cover sheets there. I would, I think, and I think that's
okay.
reasonable to think that the average person.
Sure.
Unless you said, well, maybe they add them, then I'd say, then I kind of read through it with like a more critical eye and say, yeah, maybe there's enough vagueness.
Well,
But
I think when you're doing an investigation, you're looking for top secret documents and then you're marking them top secret as you find them. So you are inserting the cover sheets. That's what I would think is happening. And you just, maybe that's just the way I think.
well, that they definitely could have done that, and I think they definitely did do that in
Yeah,
some
that's exactly
cases.
what happened, right?
Well, we'll see. But
They're like, what is the classification of this document? Like, as soon as they find out what the classification of the document is, and I don't know how they do that search, they're not going to just go, okay, they're going to put it in the pile that they've labeled this level of clearance, right? The orange
right,
pile,
no, you are
the
correct.
yellow pile,
You're
the
correct,
blue
and
pile.
obviously you're correct. And when they take a picture of it for evidence, they're gonna have to put something to block out the sensitive information.
Right. Yes,
So,
exactly. So look,
right.
I would assume that the documents were not clearly marked because that would just seem obvious. I mean, do these documents constantly float around with clear markings?
I believe that the documents are supposed to always have either a cover sheet on it or something that clearly labels it as top secret at all times.
Right. But when you take it home with you, I mean, you don't take the cover sheet, right?
Like, unless you ripped off the cover sheet, like it comes with the cover sheet already on it.
But the entire report, it's like 97 pages, right? You're only going to take the good page, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Not going to take the whole report. Come on.
Well, let me keep reading the article, because maybe we'll answer this question. Okay. The cover sheet also clearly states, quote, all individuals handling this information are required to protect it from unauthorized disclosure in the interest of the national security of the United States. Handling, storage, reproduction, and disposition of the attached document will be in accordance with applicable executive orders, status, and agency implementing regulations. The classification cover sheets are supposed to remain affixed to the top of documents until they are declassified, downgraded, or destroyed according to the National Archives.
Right.
So there's the answer to the question. They're supposed to have the cover sheet.
Right. Yeah. But you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like a 97-page document.
I understand what you're saying.
With one cover sheet, and there's only one page that's particular that you want to take home with you and keep as a memento.
Right. It's unclear where the photos of the documents was taken, but the documents were possibly laid out on the floor by agents documenting the seized materials, as evidenced by a 2A marker and a ruler in the forefront of the image that is commonly used in such cases to show the size and materials in the photos. So they're talking about this.
Yeah, I see
this ruler thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. This is an important paragraph because there was a claim. Now, I think this claim is far less legitimate than the cover sheet claim. There was a claim that when this photo came out, like they were trying to make people think like like they walked in and this was just like, oh, there's just top secret documents like laying on the floor, this various like photogenic like position. That was never my interpretation of the image. I didn't really see, maybe some people thought that. I didn't think that. I didn't really see a lot of people thinking that. Like when I saw this photo, it was very clearly like, when they, police raid something and they get all the drug stuff and they put on the table to take a picture of it, like they didn't find all that stuff laid out like that. Like they organized that and took the picture for evidence.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
so,
obviously.
so here we have a contemporary article at the time saying, now they said possibly, so they weren't 100% sure. The 2A marker appears to correlate to the list of seized materials, which describes items 2A as various classified documents, blah, blah, blah. The Justice Department is investigating Trump's handling of government records, including those he took to him in Mar-a-Lago. During the Mar-a-Lago raid, the FBI seized several sets of classified documents according to court records. See if there's anything else interesting about the cover sheets here. No, I think we're done here. Okay. So now step 2 of this process is to say, okay, well, we need to go find like the original source. So apparently this comes from a court filing by the Department of Justice on August 30th, 2022. So we go and we find that document. Okay, so here it is. I use my little magic to go back in time and find this before the stream. Here it is. This is the United States response to motion for judicial oversight and additional relief. And if you scroll at the bottom of it, you will see, there it is. Exhibit attachment F. Here's the picture. This is the picture that the media used. Now,
beautiful.
Let's go see if cover sheets are mentioned somewhere in this article or in this document. Here we go. Page 13 out of 54. Let's
threw the cover sheets in to make Donald Trump look guilty.
Exactly. So let's
go up. Does it really say that?
Well, maybe. We'll find out. So let's go up to this section, see what it says about the cover sheets. Or let's see actually what we're even talking about here.
I'm sure it says that.
Okay, so this is part of the factual background. Okay, so it's supposed to be just them laying out the facts of the case.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Just the facts, ma'am. During the August 8th execution of the search warrant at the premises, the government seized 33 boxes, containers, or items of evidence which contained over 100 classified records, including information classified at the highest levels. Pursuant to the above described search protocols, the government seized 33 items of evidence, mostly boxes, hereinafter the, quote, seized evidence, falling within the scope of Attachment B to the search warrant because they contain documents with classification markings or what otherwise appear to be government records. 3 classified documents that were not located in boxes, but rather were located in the desk in the, quote, 45 office. I guess that means that's Trump's office, were also seized. Per the search warrant protocols discussed above, the seized documents included documents that were collectively stored or found together with documents with classification markings.
Yeah, that makes it sound like they had the markings.
It does, yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about classification. Like, is a classified document, does it have a marking on every page of the document? It has like a cover sheet and then some small marking on each page. That would seem like the way to do it.
Oh, I don't know, actually. I don't think every page has like a stamp that says like top secret or something.
You know how you get a bank statement and the statement says, like 1 of 7 pages,
right,
2
right,
of
right.
7 pages,
Maybe.
3 of 7 pages. Like you'd want something like that.
Right.
That's like classified 1 of 5.
Right.
Classification A6, 1 of 5. Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe they'll say here. The investigative team has reviewed all the materials in the containers that the privilege review team did not segregate as potentially attorney-client privilege. Of the seized evidence, 13 boxes or containers contain documents with classification markings, and in all, over 100 unique documents with classification markings. That is more than twice the amount produced on June 3rd, 2022 in response to the grand jury subpoena, or seized. Okay, so they're saying that, like, after Trump handed over documents willingly, like they found twice as much still at Mar-a-Lago. That's what that's saying. Now here's, yeah, exactly. So here's the cover sheets part. Certain of the documents had color cover sheets indicating their classification status. See attachment F.
Uh-oh.
Redacted FBI photograph of certain documents and classified cover sheets recovered from a container in the 45 office.
Okay. Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh,
this
this
is
doesn't look good.
so this is the key piece of information. So in this court document, the Department of Justice very clearly says that the colored cover sheets that you saw, that we all saw in the photo, they found them. They were not placed there by the FBI. They found them. They make a
That
very, very clear statement of this. Okay.
it doesn't look good, Sitch. He
Right.
took the cover sheets.
Right. No, but this is important information because the accusation by Julie Kelly is that now they're saying they added the cover sheets, right?
Well, they could have added some, obviously, but
Well, we'll see
they
because
could have
that's
found some and added some.
right. Well, that's a good point. Maybe they found some and added some, but Julie, and everyone else is assuming
They added
that the
all of
that the
them. Yeah.
ones in the picture that we all saw in this very famous picture are the ones that they added, and they added them in order to slander Trump to some capacity. Here we have a government document claiming, or the DOJ document claiming that they found those specific cover sheets. Okay.
Finding any is kind of bad. So
I
I mean,
agree. It's not good.
already,
It's not a good
this
look.
is not a good look. Yeah.
Right. The classification levels range from confidential top secret information. Certain documents included additional sensitive compartments that signify very limited distribution. In some instances, even the FBI counterintelligence personnel and DOJ attorneys conducting a review required additional clearances before they were permitted to review certain documents. So let me check real quick because I don't know the answer. See if they tell us like what is a classification marking here. Because I'm curious, does like each thing have what
Yeah.
that means? Hmm. Let's see. Is there a definition or explanation of classification markings in this doc? I mean, it probably is in some document. I don't know if there's in this document. Um, Documents bearing classification markings just says they're marked as confidential, as top secret, as secret. But is it marked on every page? Hmm. Doesn't
Hmm.
seem to include a definition of what exactly would be what would exactly constitute a classification marking
It
specifically.
seems most logical that they found some and included some because the document says that some were there, but they obviously needed. Well, the earlier article said they added some, said they brought some classification markings to mark unmarked documents,
Right,
and they ran out.
right.
So it
Okay,
seems like they added some, and there were some there.
right. But to be clear, let's go back for a second. Okay. But to be clear, so the contention is, were the cover sheets and the photo added by the FBI? Yes or no? And here, 2 years ago, they're claiming they found them. And here, Julia is saying that now they're claiming they added them, which would be a significant, like, lie, I guess. That'd be a pretty significant lie by the DOJ if that's true, right?
How's she word it? Does she word it so she can get away with it? Does she, like they could have added some?
Let's see. Holy shit, Special Counsel Jack Smith just admitted the FBI added cover sheets to alleged classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago and took photos for evidence. This confirms my report from last month that the FBI doctored evidence to produce stunt photos of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, I
So,
don't know about the stump photos part, but
well, she's
obviously the
referring
first part.
to she's referring to this photo.
Right.
She's saying this is a stunt photo.
She doesn't say though that they added all the top secret markings
No, but
everywhere.
what she's saying is that they added, she's saying, or at least heavily implying, that they added these cover sheets so that they could take this photo so that they could put it out there in the public in order to smear Trump. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we seem to have contradicting things. So she's saying that they're saying that they added those sheets. We have an old document saying that they found those sheets. So now we got to go find this document that she's citing. Now we can see
I
this
mean, don't you
document.
kind of think they did frame Trump though?
Well, that's the question. That's the question I want to get to the bottom of, obviously.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So it says this document, this is from June 24th, 2024. So boom, we're going to use our magic here. And here we found it. This is government's response in opposition to defendant Donald J. Trump's motion to dismiss based on spoliation of evidence in violation of due process. Okay. Here it is, June 2024, 2020, 2024.
So
June 24, 2024. Wow. Okay.
His motion to dismiss is based on this photo being doctored, allegedly doctored.
So the motion to dismiss is actually based on not that photo. It's on the fact that it's kind of weird. It's like that they're claiming that the FBI, when they did the investigation, they like mixed up where things were found and put things together in different boxes when they weren't originally there or something.
I mean, what does that have to do with anything?
I'm not quite sure.
I mean, if they brought classified documents and planted them there, okay.
Sure.
You can't do that. But I mean, he's not supposed to have classified documents anywhere in his home, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe he just couldn't, maybe he just didn't know he had them.
Well, let me read what this now. Again, this is a document from the state Department of Justice, so it's an anti-Trump document. So let's see how they describe this. Okay. Defendant Trump does not offer the court a single case at any level, at any time, from anywhere in the country in which the disruption of the precise order of documents gathered in the execution of a search warrant provided support for a spoliation claim. In roughly 4 decades since the Supreme Court set the applicable standard, the 11th Circuit has never found that a defendant's due process rights were violated by the government's loss or destruction of evidence. That's a weird claim, but okay. Despite this, Trump asked the court not only to be the first to find spoliation on such benign facts, but also to employ the most drastic sanction available, dismissal of the superseding indictment. His motion is meritless and the court should reject it. So this is them saying, hey, court, tell Trump to pound sand.
That's their response to his request to dismiss.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, they don't want to dismiss it. They took all the trouble to bring the case.
Oh, I'm back.
What happened?
I had said it said Zoom crashed.
What?
Hold on, let me.
It did not crash.
Oh, can you still see my screen?
Your audio changed a bit. I don't know what happened, but
my audio changed. How's that?
Better.
Okay. Let me share my screen again.
Do it.
Okay.
Maybe it did crash. That's probably the government.
Probably.
Doing their business.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah. Everything's back to normal.
Okay. Okay, this is what the state said. Trump personally chose to keep documents containing some of the nation's most highly guarded secrets, blah, blah, blah. We know all this at his residence. They say he did so in a haphazard manner. We know all this. The FBI executed a search. What?
He had proof that the earth was flat.
Oh, okay. The FBI agents executed the search warrant on August 2022. Oh, wait. Okay, this is important, I guess. Against this backdrop of the haphazard manner in which Trump chose to maintain his boxes, he now claims that the precise order of the items within the boxes when they left the White House was critical to his defense. And what's more, that FBI agents executing the search warrant in August 2022 should have known that. So that's the claim. They're saying that when the FBI came and they were looking for the documents and they moved things from the specific boxes, they moved the order, that doing so somehow hurt Trump's ability to defend himself in court, right?
Yeah, they took out the permission slip for him to have those classified documents.
Right. Now to be fair to Trump, we'd have to pull up whatever their motion was to get the argument, because I don't know what that argument is.
I want to know.
Right. So,
like, how does the order of the documents vindicate you?
I don't know. Maybe Mr. Bookross knows what the argument is in the chat. Not exactly familiar, because I was really looking at this for the cover sheet claim, not the overarching claim. Okay. Let's see. To the contrary, the FBI agents who conducted the search did so professionally, thoroughly, and carefully under challenging circumstances, particularly given the cluttered state of boxes and the substantial volume of highly classified documents Trump had retained. Importantly, at every stage, the agents had maintained the integrity of each container in which the evidence was found, that is, box-to-box integrity. As a result, Trump, in fact, has all the evidence he needs to make the arguments he has identified in his motion. For example, he suggests for the first time that he may wish to argue that the classified documents were buried in the boxes and hard to see, or that the placement of the classified documents near dated items showed they were placed in the box long ago and may have been forgotten. But because the overall contents of each box has not changed, Trump can argue both of those things and has everything he needs to do so. Nothing has been lost, much less destroyed, and there has been no bad faith. So I guess that's part of the argument. He's saying, like, listen, like maybe in the box, Adam, there was a top secret document, but it was like crumpled up and like hidden, like all the way at the bottom, and so Trump just never noticed it was there.
Yeah, it was like inside some pamphlet for
Right.
Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, like Trump had a bunch of Playboys in there, and like stuck in between the sheets was like a top secret document that he hadn't noticed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Which, there, to be fair, I know we're kind of joking, but to be fair, there is some legitimacy. Well, it's hard to imagine when there's that many top secret documents they found that would be the case for all of them. Like if there was one or two, I think that would be like a better defense. Like, well, maybe one of them snuck in, right? It'd be like more of an accident. But when there's like so many, it's kind of like,
It's not it's not really a compelling case because normally you put the dirty pictures like inside the work document, not the
right,
work document inside the dirty pictures.
right,
Because then everyone sees you're reading Playboy instead of doing your
exactly,
work in the office.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to where's this part that Kelly's looking at here? This is page 9. So let's go to where she's looking at here, where they say they place the sheet. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this claim here. Okay, here we go. So this is the section that Julie is saying shows that the FBI is now, or the DOJ is now lying because the FBI said that they put the cover sheets themselves. Review of storage room boxes cleared by the filter team. Now this is under, let's see, what is this under? This is under the execution of the search warrant, okay? So, well, actually, we should probably just read this whole section. Execution of the search warrant. At about 8:59 a.m. on August 8th, 2022, the FBI team entered the Mar-a-Lago premise at approximately 9:14. DOJ attorney Brat, what an unfortunate name, attempted to unsuccessfully reach Trump attorney 1 by phone. At approximately 9:36, Brat spoke by telephone with Trump attorney 1. At approximately 9:55, the CCTV servers were turned off to prevent recording at the request of the FBI out of concern for agent safety. Now, this is a big contention that I see people talking about, is why were the FBI turning off the CCTV unless they were trying to do something nefarious?
No, look, if you're going to have a bunch of top secret documents that you're rifling through, you don't want CCTV blasting those documents out to the internet where Putin can get their hands on them. It's pretty obvious.
That's interesting. Though they said it was out of concern of agent safety, though. They didn't say it was out of concern of like maintaining the like secrecy of the documents.
Well, aren't a lot of the documents secret to maintain sources, agents, and whatnot?
Oh,
the safety
maybe.
of agents.
Oh, you're right. See, because we're all assuming when they say agent, they mean the FBI agents, not like the source, like the secret agent.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Look,
I'm curious as to what that
those
means.
CCTV feeds go out onto the internet. Who knows where they go from there?
My guess would be that this would be my thought process. Because if you remember, we covered this story before. We learned that the FBI didn't want to do this raid at all, that they were pressured into doing it by the DOJ, and the FBI was really, really, really dragging their feet and against doing it because they thought it would make the FBI look bad and harm their reputation.
Right.
So my guess would be one of two things. One is that they didn't want FBI agents' faces to get out and be blasted on the internet and then get harassed. Or two, more likely, they just, again, were so concerned with their reputation, they just didn't want any sort of they didn't want any visual information like that people would plaster and say, look, here's the big bad FBI. That'd be my guess.
Well, there's a number of reasons for them to turn off the cameras, as well as they want to plant a bunch of secret documents on Trump and
right now,
take him out.
right now, I would argue, or I would agree that because of the sensitivity and nature of this situation, that they should not turn off the CCTV, that everything should be very well documented so that we know that they didn't plant anything, right? So I would say if they're concerned for their safety or they're concerned with their reputation, well, they just have to kind of F off, and that should all be secondary to making sure that like they can maintain the integrity of the investigation.
Yeah, I don't know if the cameras are going to pick up the documents though. So I would still
Well, but
say that's like
you could
a
see
top priority.
right, but you could presumably see someone walking into an office and finding documents as opposed to throwing a bunch of documents on the floor and saying, "Oh, look what we found," right? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
so
Look, the
okay,
cameras could be far enough away that none of the pages are legible. So
that's
in that
true.
case, just leave them on. Yeah.
Um,
And the agents could just wear ski masks to protect their own identity.
sure. That looks really bad though. That looks really bad.
I'm just kidding about the ski masks. Okay, that was a joke.
At approximately 10:20 a.m., recording resumed at the direction of Trump attorneys. So that means that the cameras were only off for 25 minutes.
Turn those cameras on.
During the time the recording function was off, the cameras did continue to display a live feed, and some Trump Organization personnel who had access to the network feed monitored it live. Okay, so they're saying like they're gonna use this to try to defend against the claim in court that they used the 25 minutes of time to plant a bunch of documents or something.
Right.
And what the footnotes say is the CCT footage produced in Discovery establishes both the 9:55 a.m. and 10:20 a.m. approximate times. The government has produced in Discovery evidence that one, the reason for the FBI's request that CCT recording be turned off was a concern for agent safety. So there's another document talking about this in more detail. Number two, Trump personnel were aware of it. Number three, the CCTV cameras continue to broadcast live while recording was suspended for. In fact, the CCTV was recording again at Trump's organization attorney's request well before the search began. So that would be an important timeline too, is what like in this time, this 25 minutes, did anyone actually do anything, or is that still in the setup procedure? So that'd be an important question. Okay. Filter team search of the storage room. 4 filter team agents were involved in reviewing boxes in the storage room. FBI Special Agents 5, 13, 17, and 36. FBI 41 entered the storage room first to confirm that there was no potentially privileged material in plain view, which there was not. So they're saying there's no like documents just laying out visibly for people
That's
to see.
the high clearance guy right there.
In this room, yeah. At that point, a photographer took an initial set of photos of the storage room. Exhibit 4 is one of those photos. So they have a photo of what that looks like.
Nice.
After the initial photos were taken, members of the evidence response team labeled all of the boxes in the storage room with unique identifiers before a single box was opened. A photographer then took photos of the box as labeled. FBI 5 then joined FBI 36. These are the individual agents. They're just using numbers. And the two began the filter review of the storage room boxes and remained in the storage room for that purpose, in part to ensure that case team members would not be exposed to potentially privileged information. The remaining filter team agents were working in the 45 office, discussed below, that's Trump's office, and came to the storage room later. Each of the agents worked on one box at a time and ensured that no material from one box ended up in another box. So this is important because this is important to their defense, saying that they're trying to make the argument that they didn't cross-contaminate any of the boxes. That even if things were not in the exact order in the box, everything from a box stayed in their box. That's their argument, or the FBI or the DOJ's argument, I should say.
The box was in order though.
Well, no. So Trump's team is saying that like even if there was the documents in the box, it might not be put back in the same place in the box it was originally.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Right. FBI 36 ensured that everything from a box went back in the same box. FBI 5 searched one box at a time. There's no chance documents from one box ended up in another. FBI 13 searched one box at a time, and box-to-box integrity was priority. FBI 17 worked on one box at a time, and his or her best recollection is that moving documents between boxes did not happen. However, one agent saw the state in which Trump kept his boxes. It became apparent that maintaining the exact order of all documents and items within the boxes was nigh impossible. I always like when someone uses the word nigh. Given the variety,
impossible?
Yes, it was nigh impossible, Adam.
Oh,
Uh, gi-
nice.
Given the variety of document shapes and sizes, newspaper, photographs, magazines, loose cards, notes, envelopes, etc., and the presence of other non-documentary items like clothing, frame pictures, and other keepsakes. Despite that, the agents did their best they could under the circumstance. So they're making the claim that there was too many things of differing sizes that it'd be too difficult for them, nigh
I
impossible for
hate
them
it
to
when
keep
that
it in order.
happens.
Right.
I hate that.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
you're packing up and everything. You got all these odd size
I
pieces of
know.
paper.
It's
What
the
do you
worst.
do?
It's the worst. In keeping with the protocol, when any of the filter team agents came across a potentially privileged document box, the entire box was set aside and quarantined from the case team. At no point did any of the filter team agents come across a box that contained potentially privileged documents and documents marked classified, which would have triggered the above referenced instruction in the filter memo. If a box was clear for potentially privileged materials, the filter team released the box to the case team for further searching. It was not the filter team's responsibility to locate documents marked classified, but if they came across any during the review for potentially privileged materials, they typically alerted the case team to make sure any such documents were not missed. The filter team agents varied in their practice of how they did so. Blah, blah, blah. FBI 13 believes that he extracted documents with classified markings. He found and placed them on top of the stacked documents in the box so the case team could more easily locate them. So that's going to be important, I guess, if Trump's team is going to make the argument that they somehow moving them out of order affected their defense, because this would be them saying that they did in fact remove a document and put it at the top so that the case team could see it more easily, thus changing the order of the documents, if that's important. FBI 5 did his or her best to identify where the documents marked classified were in the box, while maintaining the order of documents in the box as best he or she could. So FBI 13 here, lucky or unlucky 13, they're the fuck up. Okay. We have FBI 5 here doing their damn best. FBI 13 slacking on the job. None of the filter team agents inserted placeholder pages where any documents marked classified were located. That was done by the case team and the ERT. Despite the state of the contents in the boxes, documents with classification markings were easily noticeable to the filter agents. So they're saying that when these original people were looking through the boxes, they did see documents with classification markings that were very easily visible. Agents shocked when saw classified material and undoubtedly clear when did so. Obvious that document was marked classified. Very obvious when agents found classified. The filter team set aside 6 boxes, 5 from storage room and 1 containing items seized from a desk drawer in the 45 office that contained potentially privileged materials. These boxes were documented separately from other boxes, transported separately to overnight storage in Miami, Flint, Washington area, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now we get to the part that Julia is referring to. That is supposed to show that the picture we saw was faked or was set up by the Justice Department / FBI. Review of the storage room boxes cleared by the filter team. Outside the storage room, a team of agents and ERT members set up a workspace to conduct substantive review of the boxes that the filter team cleared and released to them. So what they're saying is that they were looking, they took all the boxes that one team found in the storage room, they handed it over to the other team because the people who originally set up the boxes, they don't have the clearance necessarily to look through the top secret documents. They're just kind of setting everything up for the team that does have the clearance to look at the boxes. Box-to-box integrity was preserved during this process. An item order within a box was preserved as well as the contents of the box and circumstances would permit. Well, that's important. Would permit. If a team member located a document bearing classification marking that was subject to seizure, they removed the document, segregated it, recorded the box it was found in, and replaced it with a placeholder sheet, the initial placeholder sheet, where the classified document was removed. So at this stage, if they found the classified document, they'd pull it out and they'd put in like a little paper that said, there was a classified document here. They used pre-printed classified cover sheets for the initial placeholder sheet until they ran out of them, having not anticipated finding so many classified documents. At this point, the team began using blank sheets of paper with handwritten annotations to identify the documents. The information generally included document title, classification level, a description of the subject matter, document identification number, and/or dates and documents. Some of the descriptions of documents may themselves be classified or may be classified in conjunction with classification markings. So there are so many classified documents. They just had to take blank piece of paper and write out this information as the placeholders in the boxes. Now here's the key part that Julia is highlighting. As part of the processing of seized documents marked classified, ERT photographed the documents with appropriate cover sheets added by FBI personnel next to the box in which they were located. The photographs attached as Exhibit 8 are examples. Now, we do have a problem because I wasn't able to find a copy of this that has the exhibits attached to it.
Okay.
But let's continue because maybe we'll get to the bottom of this. So this would seem to say that from the boxes that they got from the storage room, the FBI did add cover sheets and they did take a photograph of it with the cover sheets next to the box. So the question is, are they referring to this photo, right? Or is that something else? Well, if we go back to the original paper, the original thing, where did they say that photo was? Okay. The investigative team has reviewed all, this is from 2022. The investigative team has reviewed all the materials in the containers that the privilege review team did not segregate as potentially attorney-client privilege. Of the seized evidence, 13 boxes or containers contain documents with classification markings, and in all, over 100 unique documents with classification markings. That is more than twice the amount produced. Certain of documents had colored cover sheets indicating their classification status. See Attachment F. That is the photo. Attachment F, redacted FBI photograph of certain documents and classified cover sheets recovered from a container in the 45 office. Okay, so now we suddenly have a problem with Julia's claim. Very clearly, they're saying that this photograph, is the documents found in Trump's office.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that she's using as evidence to say the FBI added it, they're saying came from a storage room, not from Trump's office. So a completely different location. So let's see what the next section says, search of the 45 office. Because this would be, if they say in this part that they just added a bunch of cover sheets, that would be evidence of her claim. Search of the 45 office. The 45 office consists of the ante room where Trump staff members had desks. Room B, Trump's office. Room C, a closet attached to Trump's office. Room F, and 2 bathrooms. Room D and E. Exhibit 9. Entry photos were taken of the ante room, Trump's office, and both bathrooms. Filter team agents then discovered in the closet a blue-covered leather-bound box full of various papers, including numerous newspaper clippings, magazines, note cards of various sizes, presidential correspondence, empty folders, and loose cover sheets for classified information, as well as documents marked classified. Exhibit 10, FBI 13. FBI 13 conducted the privilege review of the box with some brief assistance from FBI 5. FBI 13 was careful to return all items to the box after reviewing them, but did not maintain the order of the items. Again, FBI Agent 13. God, you suck at your job. FBI 13 found no potential privileged materials in the box. After FBI 13 placed all the contents of the blue box back in the box, an ERT photographer took photos of the blue box with the cover off. Exhibit 12. FBI 13 alerted the case team that he had found documents marked classified. After he completed his privilege review, 2 case team agents reviewed the box and found numerous documents with classification markings, some of which had classification cover sheets already attached, as well as loose classification cover sheets. The case team agents seized the documents marked classified, as well as any other cover sheets already attached, and segregated them. As they extracted the seized documents, they inserted placeholder sheets where they found them. Okay, so this is the problem. And this is why doing all of this research, when you say you got to research it yourself, is annoying and tedious. So we had to do all this research just to find out the truth of one claim. Did the FBI, or do we have evidence, I should say, do we have evidence currently that the FBI added these cover sheets and took a picture of this in order to smear Donald Trump? The answer is no. There's currently zero evidence to that claim because the evidence that Julie is pointing to is not in reference to that photograph. It's in reference to a photograph that we never saw from documents in a different room, where this document very clearly says that when they searched the office, which is what this photograph is from, they found classification cover sheets attached as well as loose, which would be what we're looking at right here. So all of this was just to show you a little bit of research and annoying research that you had to go through to get to this claim. Now, I don't think Julie here is intentionally lying. I think she just saw this in a document, got excited, and it fits the narrative that she wants to fit. And so, boom, she's run with it. So there you go, guys. Now you can be informed when someone says, ha, the FBI placed those sheets there, because I'm sure you're going to hear a bunch of pundits say this. I'm sure you're going to hear them talk about how the FBI placed the cover sheets and took a picture of them. And you could say, that's not true. Now, the person you're talking to is probably not going to care, but, at least you'll know. Okay.
Well, it's good to know. It's good to know the truth, obviously.
It's good to know the truth, isn't it?
It is. So they did find cover sheets.
They did find cover sheets, and the picture seems to be from, or at least there's no evidence currently. Now, obviously, they could find evidence later, but there's no evidence currently that those cover sheets were placed illegitimately by the FBI or DOJ in order to smear Trump. So,
but there's evidence that they found those cover sheets there that are in the photo?
Well, they're claiming they found them.
Okay.
Now, we could say, well, that's evidence not, but... Okay. God's joke for $20. Thanks so much. The Sitch sent you a video of a very woke doctor and a normie doctor talking about trans kids. Woke doctor claims kids are not being misled into taking treatment. Kind of felt like the normie doctor was being gaslit. Okay, interesting.
Wow. It's on YouTube? Bring it up. Bring up the top secret trans document.
Oh, well, this is a 2 hour and 57-minute video, but I'll check it out.
Oh, yeah. That might be a little...
Feel a little long for this stream.
If they have baby filters on the doctors' faces, we might watch it.
Interesting. But I'll check it out. That does sound interesting. Christian Bar for $5 says, what is the worst Twitter account? Joshua P. Hill or the Squirrel? I honestly think Joshua P. Hill is worse. Who is Joshua P. Hill?
I don't know Joshua P. Hill, but the Squirrel... Hard for me to imagine Joshua P. Hill is worse than the Squirrel. The Squirrel has massive reach. Does Joshua P. Hill have massive reach? Are people disseminating Joshua P. Hill's lies?
That's like the pro-Palestinian guy or something.
Oh.
I haven't really... If you or someone else was talking about this account the other day. And I haven't seen a bunch of tweets from them, so I don't know. I can't tell. But it's hard for me to imagine, like you said, it's hard for me to imagine anyone is worse than the Twitter Squirrel.
Yeah.
That seems like top tier, like the worst account on YouTube. Oh, Joshua P. Hill. Wait, it seems like their account is suspended. Or is there a new one? Morgan for $5 says, did you hear about the illegal doctors and engineers, illegal immigrants killing a 13-year-old girl in New York and a 12-year-old girl in Texas? Jesus, no, that sounds awful.
Yeah,
that's pretty disgusting. Legal, yeah. I did hear about there was like some really fucked up thing with the there were some immigrants. I don't think they were illegal, but there were some immigrants that like sexually assaulted like a minor in Germany. Did you hear about this? Like years ago. And because like all but one of them were a minor, they got like these very like slap on the wrist charges because Germany has some like fucked up rules about not charging minors even when they do serious crimes because Germany's like super cucked, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And some woman, and one of their identities, which first of all is just disgusting. This part of why I think America is pretty base is that at least we give the judges leniency to be like, okay, if you've committed some like fucking heinous crime, even if you're a minor, like they can basically be like, no, we're charging you as an adult. You're going to go to jail for a long fucking time. Or, in this cases, these people should all go to jail for a very long time and then be deported because none of them were from Germany originally. And it's kind of fucking disgusting. What the judge said in response to basically saying that these kids have, they've learned from like raping someone. It's like they've learned, they've become better people. It's like, no, fuck you. These people should all go to jail forever, and then if they ever get out, should be deported. And then there was a woman, like one of the identities of the kids who was a minor at the time, was released, and some woman sent him like a message calling him like a scumbag or something, and she had to go to jail for like a
No
day.
way.
Yeah, she had to go to jail for like a weekend for like
For like
sending a
hate crime
threatening message
online.
or
Oh
something.
wow.
It's just disgusting. Germany's like so fucked. I was like, what the hell's going on there? So
Wow. You can't even taunt your rapist online anymore.
that's pretty bad.
It's horrible.
Lives in Deswall specifically for $5 says, I want to take their candy away. Yes, take it away. Noel, Screaming to the Void, $5 says, are the people who were in LA in front of the synagogue can be prosecuted under the same law the abortion clinic protesters were? Does Sitch? No. That's a good question. I did see, did you see those videos? There are all these videos of these people that were protesting in front of a synagogue. Did you
I
see any
did
of them?
not see the videos, no.
Um, I
But
I
they
didn't really look
sound
into it though.
pretty bad. Protesting in front of a synagogue. How anti-Semitic, right?
Yeah. I didn't really look into any of it, but I saw what was going on. I'll send you some of the videos if you want to bring them up. They're all on Twitter though, unfortunately. But here, I'll look into that in a second.
I mean, how were they protesting? They're just
Um,
holding signs and stuff? I mean, that's not bad, right?
let's see. Video footage of Palestinian protests outside of a synagogue in LA are shocking. Mobs of protesters using violence against Jews in broad daylight. How does this move have any legitimacy? At least that's what is being claimed by
They were
this
protesting by
story.
beating people up? Well, that doesn't sound like a peaceful protest.
Well, I sent you a tweet that's got like video of it if you want to bring it up.
Sure.
See, looks like a very chaotic scene. Now, my understanding was the reason that they're claiming that they were protesting outside of a synagogue, they're claiming that the synagogue had something to do with land being sold in Israel or something. Let's see. A protest outside of a synagogue in Los Angeles, most densely populated Jewish enclave on Sunday, drew unusually swift and forceful condemnation from top Democratic leaders, including President Biden, reigniting debates about the boundaries of acceptable protest as tension over the war in Gaza continues. Uh, Biden said, intimidating Jewish congregants is dangerous and unconscionable, anti-Semitic and un-American. Americans have a right to peaceful protest, but blocking access to a house of worship and engaging in violence is never acceptable. Pro-Palestinian groups criticize that characterization, defending Sunday's demonstration and arguing that protesting an event at a synagogue was not inherently anti-Semitic. I mean,
If you're beating
protesting
up
at a
Jewish people, that's not good.
sure, protesting at a synagogue doesn't necessarily have to be anti-Semitic. Like say, for example, the owner of the synagogue is I don't know, he ran over someone, right? And you're like protesting them for getting a DUI, sure. But I guess the question is, why are you protesting in front of a synagogue that has any, like, how does that relate directly to Israel, the Israel-Palestine conflict at the moment, right? You have to draw some sort of connection there specifically. Because if you're just like, oh, well, they're Jewish, well, then yeah, it is anti-Semitic. In this case, demonstrators were protesting a real estate fair at Addis Torah Synagogue, where attendees were invited to meet representatives of housing projects in all the best Anglo neighborhoods in Israel on Sunday afternoon. What is an Anglo neighborhood? What does that mean? It's unclear whether some of the property sales being promoted at the event were in disputed territories that could make them illegal under international law. Similar events, which have taken place for decades, have drawn protests in the past, particularly during the current violence in Gaza. In March, for instance, hundreds protested outside an Orthodox Jewish synagogue in Teaneck, New Jersey, where Israeli real estate companies were advertising property to prospective American buyers. Okay, so they're saying it's not anti-Semitic. We were just protesting because they were doing this real estate fair thing. Um, but I guess the question, and I don't think it would really matter to the protesters. The question would be, was the real estate that they were talking about, was it in, the West Bank, or was it in Israel proper?
I don't. What's in this video? I don't want to play like people beating other people up. It's not good for our channel.
I don't think it will get us flagged.
Okay.
I don't think it will get us flagged. Are you playing it?
Yeah, I'm scrubbing through it. There's like a fight in the street, though.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to put fighting on YouTube.
Well, if you just want to scrub through it, just show people there's like people punching each other and whatever.
Yeah.
So obviously you can see that whatever this protest was, obviously became very chaotic and violent.
Yeah.
So not a great thing. Not a great thing. But no, what I was going to say is the protesters, I would wager they shouldn't, like, if they're protesting against Israel, I'm imagining they don't care whether the real estate is in the West Bank or not, because I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming the protesters don't agree with Israel's right to exist at all anyway. So they would presumably just not be in favor of any sort of real estate fair at any synagogue, regardless.
Yeah, but
Mr.
that's a
Biden,
good excuse if they're
that's true.
selling real estate in the West Bank or something. I mean, obviously.
Mr. Biden was in essence claiming that it adhered to American values to, quote, use a place of worship to illegally sell Anglo neighborhoods on stolen occupied land. Organizers with the
My God.
anti-war activist group Code Pink, which supported Sunday's demonstration, said in a statement, "This mischaracterization by President Biden is outrageous and has real consequences, Adam."
I bet. Sounds
Rabbi
consequential.
Devoid Reva, Jesus, what a name, of Addis Torah said the event was the first of its kind that the synagogue had hosted and would probably be the last. Still, he disputed that the event was promoting illegal land sales. Quote, "It was really properties in very established legal communities," he said. "The fact that the event drew such an outcry shows it wasn't just about Gaza, it was having Jews in Israel altogether." Pro-Palestinian demonstrators arrived around midday on Sunday. After various activist groups circulated the event flyer and called on protesters to show up. Counter protesters supporting Israel also gathered outside the synagogue, and soon the two groups began fighting. Images posted on social media showed scuffles breaking out, punches being thrown, and people chasing others down the street. Witnesses on both sides accused the other of being the aggressors. Blah, blah, blah. One person was
Where was
arrested
this
after
in
being
LA?
accused of having a spiked post at the protest. There you go. What'd you say?
I said, where was this in LA?
This was in
Westwood?
Pico Robertson neighborhood. Do you know where that is?
Pico Robinson?
Pico Robertson.
Yeah, it's like kind of central LA.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. This article says anything else. They talk about the protests on the university campus, which isn't really relevant. Okay. So the question was, are the people in front of the LA synagogue, can they be prosecuted under the same law as the abortion clinic protesters? What was I don't remember that case very well. Abortion protesters sentenced. Anti-abortion activist jailed for blockading U.S. clinic. I'm assuming this is what you're talking about. Lauren Handy, 30, led a group that forced entry into the Sergey Clinic in 2020, injuring a nurse before spending several hours inside. She was one of several people convicted of civil rights offense last year over the incident. Well, this sounds different because this sounds like, well, at least according to this article, they're saying that they forced entry, which would change the situation. Handy, leader of Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising, PAAU, it's a terrible acronym. The PAU group described herself as a Catholic anarchist, was found guilty in August of 2023 and sentenced on Tuesday. She had denied a charge of using force to obstruct reproductive health care services, a crime under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. Her trial heard that she had made an abortion appointment at the clinic on October 22nd, 2020, using the name Hazel Jenkins. When she arrived, she and several others forced their way into the clinic. A nurse sprained her ankle. Oh my God. When one of the groups forced their way in. The group remained inside for several hours, live streaming the blockade on Facebook as they linked arms and used furniture, locks, and chains to block the clinic's door. Handy and 8 others were eventually arrested and charged with conspiring to injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate patients and employees. Okay. So we have to say, so she was charged under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. So what does this say? This is from 1994, signed into law by Bill Clinton. Prohibits the following 3 things: the use of physical force, threat of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person who's obtaining an abortion. The use of physical force, threats of physical force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, an attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person who is exercising or trying to exercise their First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of worship. Or number 3, the intentional damage or destruction of a reproductive health care facility or place of worship. Okay, so in terms of the synagogue thing, number 2 would be the relevant factor. Use of force, threat of force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, interfere with, or attempt to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person who's exercising or trying to exercise their First Amendment right of religious freedom at a place of religious worship. So, under that law, it 100% sounds like these protesters could be charged with a federal crime. This is a federal law. Could be charged with a federal crime under this statute. Now, I'm guessing the legal argument will be, well, they weren't protesting a religious ceremony. They were protesting something that had nothing to do with the religious ceremony. They were protesting this, what they're claiming is this real estate land sale thing. So that would be kind of an interesting legal question, is if you block the entrance or intimidate people to enter a religious facility, even if they're not engaged in a religious activity at the moment that you're blocking them, does that still violate this law? And I don't know the answer to that question. So there probably has been other cases that and rulings on whether that, how that all plays out legally. Wait, what day was it that this all happened? It was on Sunday. So it wasn't on Jewish Sabbath. Jewish Sabbath is Friday night, Saturday, so that might help the protesters a little bit in their defense. But so I guess we'll see. I think they 100% could be charged. I don't know if it will be successful or not. But there, that answers your question. All right. Mike Hassan for 23 months says, tomorrow's my birthday. What did you guys get me? First of all, thanks so much for being 23 months of Discipline Equals Freedom, Mike.
Woo!
What did we get you?
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Well, I'll tell you what we got you.
Woo!
Tonight's right after Star Wars Acolyte airs.
Right.
We're gonna
just
be
for you.
Just for you, Mike, and no one else. Just kidding, for everyone. We will be doing a immediate reaction to the episode, discussion, breakdown of the episode, going through the episode on our second channel. Okay, right here. Click the link in the description or click the pinned comment. Death of a Franchise Media channel. Check it out tonight.
Yes, in your honor, your birthday honor. Made it another year. Congratulations.
Did it start on Saturday or just got wild on Sunday? I don't know. The article I read said it was on Sunday, but so I don't know if it started on Saturday. If it started on Saturday, that'd be much worse for their case, presumably. I like this poll you put up. Who will win the 2024 presidential election? Trump, Biden, RFK, or Star Wars?
Right. Star Wars is currently in second place, so it's going to be a great 4 years.
Trump is winning with 51%, Biden 13%, RFK 6%, and Star Wars with 30%.
We're going to have female witches in the White House.
There you go. Val Van Gogh for $2 says, "For my friends, mercy. For my enemies, the law." There you go.
That's exactly what's going on here.
Mr. Ubercross, thanks, Mr. Ubercross for 26 months says the FBI didn't need to cover the documents. They could have filed the images as secure documents we couldn't see. Well, there you go. Interesting. That's a good point.
Wow, that is a good point.
Cameraman 502 for $2 says, couldn't they also collect the video as classified? Like the CCTV video?
Well, it said someone else was looking at the video. Who else was looking at the video?
There were Trump staffers that were like Trump people that worked at Mar-a-Lago.
Those Trump staffers that watched the video, they had classification.
No, obviously
rankings.
Not.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could.
They turn the cameras off.
Right. My guess would be the only way they could collect the video as classified is if you could make out classified documents on the video, which I'm guessing you probably could not. I could be wrong, but I don't know how good those, like usually, I don't know, usually we see those like CCT cameras, they're not great, but.
Yeah, I mean, they could have 4K cameras. Who knows?
Who knows?
Enhance.
There you
Zoom
go.
Zoom in.
Enhance.
I've seen CSI. I know how they do that.
Jimmy the Earring Penguin for $5 says all law enforcement turns off the cameras. It's about protecting any acts of incompetence that might occur. It's always to cover their butts. You're probably correct. That would be my base assumption unless someone provided a good argument for the specific case otherwise. Yes.
There's always the reason and then the excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
Libertarian Sasquatch for $2 says the problem is you can church up a cover sheet. What do you mean? What does church up mean?
Who knows?
Jingy and Penguin for $5 says advice to future president, write, quote, I declassify all this on your packaging boxes and sign it. Use the powers you've got.
That's right. That's why he was complaining about the out of order. He's like, the declassification notice was right on top, you idiots.
There you go. You know, that would actually be hilarious if going forward now for all presidents to just get around this situation, they just do that. They literally write, I declassify everything in this box and put a sticky note on top of it.
That's what's going to happen from now on.
Yeah, maybe.
Might as well, right?
Right?
What do you got to lose?
Luke Nagel for $2 says, thanks for the detailed, unbiased coverage, you guys. Well, thank you for $2.
Yeah, thanks. Third super chat.
The Justice 35 for $10 says, are you guys going to review the Douglas Murray versus Mehdi Hassan Monk debate? Because Murray annihilated Mehdi. Also, Andrew Wilson versus Dave Smith was embarrassing for Dave. He got dog walked by Andrew. So the first thing, I do 100% want to cover the Douglas Murray versus Mehdi Hassan Monk debate. I don't know. So I actually wanted to cover it last Sunday, but I realized it's not officially out on YouTube yet. I don't know if it is currently, but it wasn't on Sunday. And people were re-uploading it, but then they were copyright striking anyone that re-uploaded anything more than like a clip on it. So if it comes out on YouTube, which I hope it does, we will 100% cover it because I thought it was very interesting. As of now, they want you to pay money to watch it. So it might be out in a week. It might be out in a month. I think that's what they do. I think they wait like a couple weeks and then they put it out on YouTube. So we'll cover it then. Because it was a very spicy conversation and a fun conversation. As for the Andrew Wilson versus Dave Smith, did you see this debate?
No, I did not.
So I saw this debate, or I'm sorry, I saw part of the debate. I had to turn it off in disgust. Okay. I felt how Ragamuffin feels. That's how I felt.
That's not Ragamuffin.
Oh, I felt how Wormy felt. Okay.
Wormy does not like this debate.
No. So, they were having a debate.
It says Andrew Wilson versus Dave Smith. Is libertarianism better than Christian populism?
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Does that sound like something you really want to just, oh my God.
No, it doesn't.
Did you guys hear about Tim Pool and CNN as per streaming the debate? No. What does that mean? But so this debate, so I tried to watch this debate and it was interesting because I heard, like, before I watched it, everyone was saying Dave Smith got annihilated. Dave Smith got annihilated. He sucked in the debate, blah, 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 blah. And, I don't think I've seen any Andrew Wilson content. I don't really have a strong opinion about him, or I don't really know anything about him. Obviously, we had the conversation with Dave Smith where I thought he was nice in the
Schmarmy,
conversation, but
evasive.
I thought he was very evasive, and I thought he was very obviously wrong and not accepting like the obvious truth of the Newland phone call that I laid out very clearly. So I listened to this debate. Um, Everyone said Dave Smith got owned, and like I'm listening to like the first 20 minutes, and I'm just confused as to why everyone's saying Dave Smith got owned. Because in the first 20 minutes, Andrew Wilson is being a huge asshole to Dave Smith, and I don't know why. He's being a massive asshole. He's constantly interrupting, putting words in his mouth. He's like asking questions, and when Dave tries to answer, he's like, "You're not answering my question," blah blah blah. He's like being like full on 100% maximum debate bro brained possible, and it was so horrendously obnoxious that Dave Smith is like, "Do you want me to leave? Like, what's happening here? Like, why are you being such an asshole?" Like a friend of mine said that we'd have a good conversation, and I was 100% agreeing with Dave. I was like, "Wow, this Andrew Wilson guy being a huge prick to Dave Smith," and I don't know why. I don't know what the backstory is between the two of them or why he's being such a dick. And I thought, so I was very confused what everyone was talking about. But I listened for another 20 minutes. And after another 20 minutes, I said, oh, that's what everyone's talking about. So they start, Andrew Wilson starts asking Dave Smith, like all of these philosophical questions, sort of about the origin of like the philosophical, like I guess not the origin, the root of the philosophical belief of libertarian values and the NAP, right? The non-aggression principle. A lot of it stemming from like this philosophical conversation of, well, how do you prove that you, Adam, own yourself?
Leave it included.
Right?
So with that,
how do you or anyone else prove that they own themselves? That was kind of like a big part of the thing. And what became now, I didn't watch the whole debate. I only watched about an hour of it because it's hard to get through. Because on one hand you have Andrew Wilson that's being very obnoxious, and then after the first 20 minutes you have Dave Smith who seems to be completely like, I hate to say it, but just really dumb in the conversation, completely out of his depth here. Because it feels like this is the part of the conversation I saw. I don't know if Dave Smith rallies at the end, but that Dave Smith doesn't actually know or understand or could articulate a philosophical basis of why he's libertarian or what his beliefs stem from. Which, if you're just like a normal person on the street, I'm not going to really fault you for that. If you're like a big, internet YouTuber pundit who debates these things and was, running to be the candidate for your party, I feel like you should have a pretty good like philosophical understanding of your position and why you believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Why you should own yourself?
No, how do you prove that you own yourself was like a big contentious point.
Philosophically?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, it's like a cultural agreement.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it seemed like, and I don't know because I didn't get to the rest of it. It seemed like Andrew was trying to make a point about how like because ownership is a socially derived construct, it's not like a natural right. It's not inherent in nature. It's something that society could take away. I'm assuming that's the direction he was going in the conversation. I never got to that point in the conversation.
Right.
But
I mean, the idea of self-ownership comes into being with individual property rights. Because the first individual property right is you, yourself.
That was what Andrew was trying to get at in the conversation with Dave, was he was trying to question that root idea of self-ownership.
So he doesn't buy into that? I mean, it is cultural agreement. I don't know that it's like, you can't say it's a law of nature.
I would agree, but I'm not, we're on record of believing that natural rights are useful fiction. It's not exactly real. So,
yeah, exactly.
So it seemed like that's kind of what the conversation was trying to get at. And it seemed like Dave didn't have the philosophical backing to even understand the question being asked of him, which is why he looked really bad in the part of the debate that I saw. He couldn't even like understand the concepts that Andrew was trying to get at here. And it's funny because Andrew actually asked the Jonathan Haidt question. is it wrong to get a chicken and screw it before you kill it?
Oh, wow.
He actually had to top the high question. And it's hilarious because Dave Smith was like completely like dumbstruck by this question and he didn't know how to answer it. Because
Wow.
it was really funny because he was trying to answer because it was like Andrew's obviously trying to say like from a libertarian moral perspective, how do you argue against fucking a chicken? Right? But it seemed like Dave wasn't even equipped to understand the question that was being asked of him. So
Well, maybe I will check it out then. This sounds like it can be. Look, I have the same feeling about Andrew Wilson. I don't know why he has to be a dick to everyone. I guess maybe people like that. And look, we got a super chat here that maybe you like Andrew Wilson owning Dave Smith. There's some satisfaction, but yeah, I'm not too into that. But I want to say also that like the nap is social convention too. So
social
I don't
construction.
well, social construction and social convention are kind of the same thing, right? It's like a social agreement.
I guess. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah. Right.
So I don't, how do you argue any of those things?
I don't.
I
Well,
think Andrew Wilson
mhm.
will argue like natural rights. He'll argue that those are like endowed by our creator and therefore.
That's what it seemed like the
Yeah.
direction Andrew was going in, that he was trying to argue, he was arguing something about that his moral philosophy was better because it was rooted in a supposed objective truth of God's existence. I'm assuming that's what the argument was. I didn't get to the full thing because I turned off the video, but yeah, so I don't know. I thought this conversation was a horrible showing for every party involved. So,
I think
which
I think you have the rights that you can pragmatically secure for yourself. And we have different ways of doing that. We do it through government, we do it through law enforcement. So I think
Mhm.
that's where the right comes from. Like the non-aggression principle, like is secured because we have because we hire people, law enforcement officers, to secure it. And God was obviously the first form of like law enforcement when we didn't have the resource to actually hire people to enforce the law. You know, everyone believed in a God that would torture you if you broke certain rules of society. And that did a good job of curbing most people's appetite for those kinds of behaviors. Not fully, obviously, people still engage in them.
Mhm.
But, you know, when that belief in God wasn't enough, a lot of times the community would come together and get rid of troublemakers, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess, if you don't like Dave Smith, and or you do like Andrew or some, combination of those factors, and I guess you'll want to see Dave Smith get like yelled at. As someone who doesn't, I'm not a big Dave Smith fan, but I find it annoying when someone is being like cordial and the other person's being hyper aggressive for reasons that I don't understand why. To me, it always just comes off as like they're being a huge prick. And I think that Andrew would have been much better off if he had just been like chill in it and like walked Dave through the conversation to get to the point where you could still show, like you could still very easily show to the audience that Dave Smith doesn't know what he's talking about and doesn't have a philosophical understanding of his principles. And I think you could do that without just like yelling at him and being a dickhead. So
who did so neither party really represents our point of view on the rights thing too. That's kind of frustrating in a debate. You've got two people arguing a point of view that you disagree with both people. It's
yeah,
like,
of course.
why am I watching this debate?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's part of it too. But uh Brian for $10 says, "What happened in Germany was bad, but the worst thing I ever saw was the British police covering up grooming gangs because they were Pakistani. They wanted to protect their message on diversity." Yes, I remember when that happened.
I hate when they cover up crime because they're worried about stereotypes. Such
Yeah,
bullshit.
disgusting. And the media does that a lot here too. Because I mean,
Yes.
obviously you'll see like whenever a suspect is black, or now if they're, an undocumented or illegal immigrant, that information is
Or
magically
homeless.
removed from the news story, right? It just
Yeah.
disappears, right? But if they're white, then they 100% put that, they
Front
put that
page
in there.
news. Yeah.
They plaster their photo everywhere. So, Libertarian Sasquatch for $5 says, as a vet who has top secret clearance, look at you. Civilians have a movie media understanding of what top secret is. The FBI news knows this and can play it up for civilians. Well, there you go.
Sounds like the FBI was playing games.
Cameraman 502 for $5 says, does it actually matter if it was settlement property? They're number one, they're assaulting people. Number two, these are river to sea folks. They think it's all stolen. So, well, I'm just obviously if you're assaulting people, you can get charged for assaulting people regardless. I was just curious on the charge of anti-Semitism because I think you 100% can be anti-Israeli policy. I think it can be anti-Israel without necessarily being anti-Semitic. I do think people throw that around a little too easily. But yeah, obviously in terms of like going to jail, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I agree with the number two, the second thing you said, which is that, those people, I'm assuming, don't really care whether it was in West Bank or Israel proper. They would consider everything stolen. So, Careman 502 Provider says they violated 18 U.S. Code 241, which secures all rights, including lawful assembly from threats and intimidation. Really? Let's look this up here. Section 241 makes it unlawful for two or more persons to agree to injure, threaten, or intimidate a person in the United States in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured by the Constitution or the laws of the United States or because of his or her having exercised such right. I mean, that definitely seems to be the case. I would definitely agree with that. Gavatron for 5 Canadian says, in Canadian news, a Liberal Party stronghold in Toronto was flipped Conservative, causing a massive upset. This signals Trudeau's days are numbered. Interesting.
No more Trudeau to kick around.
I guess not. What's this thing you sent me, Zero Fucks, on Twitter?
Oh no, don't look at it. It's probably dangerous.
It's not a meme. It's something about the evidence tampering. The prosecution admitted to previously misrepresenting the evidence, which falls under the larger umbrella of tampering, along with violating, authenticating, or violating chain of custody. While inserting placeholders seems like such a nothing burger, it's technically a violation of process. This matters because misrepresenting the evidence and keeping this information from the defense team means it inherently narrows or misdirects the possibilities of the case the defense may have been planning to put on. In the majority of criminal cases, the defendant actually did the thing, so the defense doesn't go for a plea deal. They seek to win or get the case thrown out on some technicality, which usually is some violation of procedure. For example, uncalibrated or recalled models of breathalyzers used for DI stops tend to be a massive hole for the defense to exploit, even if the breathalyzer worked as expected. I mean, I guess I get the argument. I'm just looking at it from a more I understand that yes, the defense is going to bring up everything they possibly can, and any sort of procedural fuck up they're going to point to and say, they fucked something up. But I'm just looking at it from the more I guess non-legal realistic standard of how exactly, if the documents are out of order, is that really a tangible effect on the case or the truth of the events, in my opinion, which doesn't, in my opinion, no. If with this many documents, I would say no. If it was just one or two things, maybe you can make the argument that, it was a mistake. They were under a bunch of papers in some weird location, blah, blah, blah. But with this many documents and with some of them, it seemed like they were saying some of them were were recorded where they were and were in, places very visible. Don't think it would make that much of a difference. So what was this thing what was that noise I was hearing?
I just backed up the watch together.
Oh, I thought you put something in the watch together.
Oh no.
I kind of covered it since I sent it. Oh, okay.
I did put the Dave Smith just to pull a graphic up from the thing we're talking about.
Caleb for $5 says, did either of you see the leftist webcomic artist House of Decline have a meltdown on Twitter over being compared to Stone Toss over the weekend? I did see that, yes. Wait, so that's interesting. Was that why? I thought it was because, so House of Decline was he's like, is he, I guess he's like a lefty.
But is he doing pro-Hamas stuff, and that's why they're comparing him to Stone Toss? That would be great.
Well, it's interesting. I didn't know that's why It was. I thought it was because
Well, I don't
here,
know. I'm just hypothesizing.
I'm gonna send you a link to the tweet. This is what I thought caused the outrage. I didn't know it was having to do with being compared to Stone Toss. I thought it was because he posted a comic that had like so much fucking text to it.
Right. You're like, I'm not reading this fucking comic. Oh my
Right.
God. I'm not reading this comic. I'm pissed that you even sent this to me.
Yeah, like you bring it up, you're just like, what am I looking at here? Like,
This
holy
is a
shit.
comic?
This is
Oh
a
my
comic.
God. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
And so like I saw like just so many people making fun of it. They're like, leftist comic, with like the million fucking words. I'm not gonna read it. Uh, and he had like the selling woke lemonade thing or something. But but
Hmm.
anyway, um, so I just thought people were making fun of him for just like writing so much, like this fucking wall of text. And then he got like super triggered about it. So I don't know why. Should just been like, oh, just laugh it off, just don't respond, just do something next. Like,
That is
who cares?
usually the best
Yeah,
response to all this shit. Just let it go.
just let it go. Like,
Yeah.
especially when you do these sort of like these comics that are like very dismissive of other people, or very, or whatever. You think people just be like, oh, just let it go. Who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares? Doesn't matter. Did he actually take down the Lemonade comic? The original one? I don't see it on his timeline anymore. Was the original? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is. Oh no, wait.
We've said shit on the show so many times that people have given us shit for. And it blows over. Okay. You got to weather the storm
Yeah,
for a couple days. By Sunday, like everyone has forgotten about it. It's just, that's the nature of the beast, making any kind of content. Yeah.
that's true.
Unless, of course, you're like Mr. Girl and you're going to make a music video about how you're a fucking pedophile. Okay. You might as well just throw your entire career away.
Yeah, you gotta move on. You gotta move on in your life. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was the tweet that I think kind of started everything. I sent it to you. This was a comic he made.
It better be an acceptable amount of text.
Well, it's kind of not, but that was kind of well, it's not as bad as the other one, but
Oh my God.
but
Hmm.
so you have in the first panel, you have someone saying, "Man, I'm tired of not selling any lemonade." It says, and they have a little sign that says "Lemonade 50 cent a cup." So they write "anti-woke lemonade," and suddenly you see a bunch of like evil chuds come out of the woodwork, and they say, "Young man, I'd like to support your business." So would I. So would I. And they start giving the guy all this money, and then the guy in the last panel says, "This feels wrong, but this money kind of helps." Okay. Now, people are making fun of
No
this for
beanie?
no beanie. But people are making fun of this for two reasons. First of all, obviously, because it's a very woke comic, very anti woke comic. But more importantly, people were saying, you don't need all this like dialogue. Like all you would need is the pictures, and that's all you needed, right? You just need a guy selling lemonade, a picture of a guy selling lemonade, nothing. He writes anti woke lemonade. You see a bunch of people giving him money, and that's the comic, right?
Yep.
You don't need any of the dialogue. It's all extraneous.
Yep.
And so
Superfluous.
it's all superfluous. Thank you. That's a much better word. And so people were like posting it and like making fun of him for having all the extra text, and he got really fucking triggered by it, which is weird.
You
He
got
said,
behind her.
he did. He said, so someone said, who is a leftist, said, on my knees begging leftist comic artists to stop adding unnecessary text. Holy shit. And they put a bunch of red X's over the dialogue. He responded saying, this isn't that much text. I just think you don't like to read, which would explain your general vibe of abject stupidity.
Wow. Look, that's a good comment, though.
It is.
That's a good comment. Like a lot of people see a lot of text. And they're like, I'm not fucking reading this.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, now the original person that tweeted, they got 23,000 likes. House of Decline's reply got 56,000 likes, so they did successfully ratio them, as the kids say. even though he looks massively butthurt in that ratio. But then the original person responded saying, "Look, I like your comic and your ideas, but you got to learn how to take any minor criticism without devolving into personal attacks."
To which he said, "Fuck you."
To which he said, "But I straight up don't like you on a personal level."
Oh my God.
So yes, he said, "Fuck you." He should have said, "Fuck you." So
Is this I have this, I don't know who did this comic. Is the
mhm.
tweet that you sent me the guy who did the comic?
N um,
Allodoxa?
no, no, the
Okay.
guy that did it is House of Decline,
Okay.
but it was an older comic. So
Gotcha. I mean, this is a dig at Tim Pool, right? It needs to be coffee and the guy needs a beanie, right? And it's
yeah, I don't
perfectly
know if it's Tim Pool
explicit.
specifically or just an accusation
Or
of
maybe
general
Jeremy.
grifting from, maybe quartering or for his coffee. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know if it's specifically aimed at anyone, just like a general vibe of accusing the anti-woke people of grifting, which is one of their go-tos. So
Well, there can be anti-woke grifters, and that doesn't mean all people criticizing woke are grifters, right?
of course,
Yeah.
but that's too complicated for people's brains to handle.
That's too nuanced.
So this House Decline person is saying that their pronouns are she, her.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a woman or a trans woman.
What?
So
They're she, her pronouns.
right.
Obviously, it's a woman, Sitch.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that explained the
Even,
the
man, I'm tired of
very
not selling any lemonades. I mean, it could just be, man, I'm not selling any lemonade.
or you're just you don't even need the text. And you just been like, you're correct.
Oh yeah, it could just be yeah, empty lemonade stand.
Yeah, just empty. That's all it needs to happen. So
But it needs to
but
be a wider shot so you can see there's
you're
like
right.
nobody around for miles.
You're right. Like a zoom back shot, you see they're all
Yeah.
alone. True. That's a good point.
Then he makes the anti-woke lemonade sign. Then all of a sudden, like same zoom back shot, but you see like a crowd just fucking forever. And the
Well,
last shot would just money, money, money from everyone.
I guess the question is that comic where they had like the fucking wall of text, is that like supposed to be a troll? Or is that them just having a shit fit?
Oh, is that the response to people talking about too much text in this comic? Is that what's
Yes.
going on? Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh,
That
okay. I get it
massive
now.
text vomiting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Okay.
that wasn't like a supposed to be a troll joke or just like
Yeah, that's obviously what they're doing. They're saying, you saying I'm having too much text in this comic. Well, look, I'll show you what too much text is.
right.
Take that. Take that, internet. All right, I already don't like this person.
Okay. They're talking about they haven't been able to get their hormones for months. So maybe that's leading to
How,
some of their mental state at the moment.
how do I fix this comic to make fun of leftists?
It'd be very simple. You zoom out, you see no one is buying lemonade, then you put Pride Lemonade on the sign.
Right,
And
exactly.
then you have all the people show up and you just give them like colored hair and then all the money coming in. So
Oh, that's good.
that's how you do it.
But I mean, get woke, go broke. That kind of goes against that narrative. Do people really buy the
That's
narrative
true.
is that the pride people don't buy shit. Like the joke would be you back up and there's still no one around.
No. How about this? You say Pride Lemonade,
Uh-huh.
and then you see like Disney is like, we'd like to buy your Pride Lemonade.
Oh, that's good. That's
Like Mickey
good.
Mouse shows up. It's like,
Kathleen
oh, let me get some of
Kathleen
that Pride Lemonade.
Kathleen Kennedy shows up with a contract to write the
There you
next Star Wars.
go. Okay, you know what? That's the joke. All right. There's no one there. He writes Pride Lemonade. Then Kathleen Kennedy, Mickey Mouse go, here's the contract to write a Star Wars
Ex-
series.
exactly.
We should do this. I actually want to do that. Maybe we'll do that edit. That sounds hilarious.
Edit on this one? Yeah.
On this one. Yeah.
I love editing these comics. That's like a fun thing. I've done a few of them. I've done a few of the centrist ones.
Mine still gets shared pretty often. The reality one where it's like
Yes, yeah.
the one side is the KKK and the other side is we just want civil rights, and the centrist is like, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. God, I hate that one. All right.
Okay,
Great show, guys. Oh, wait.
we got
Couple
some
more
supers.
super chats here.
Caleb for $5 says someone told House leftists needs to use less text and use the Stone Toss comic as an example of a good comic, and he crashed out. Using the Stone Toss thing is what triggered him.
Oh, he's like, how dare you compare me to Stone Toss? No, no, I
Right.
wasn't comparing. I was just saying, look, this is how it's done right.
JMac, our circuit far, thanks so much. Daddy JMac with $5 says it was unnecessary text, and a fellow lefty pointed it out, and he blew up because Stone Toss was brought up and House flipped out. Hilarity ensued.
That's
Perfect.
great.
God Joke for $5 says consider watching the video I sent you on a Sunday stream. Tavistock Clinic is vaguely mentioned and is characterized as human error. I will check it out. It does seem interesting. Tarl Chudmunch for 9 months says, you see, guys, you don't like the comic because you don't have the media literacy to grasp the genius behind the slop. I mean, masterpiece. There you go.
I saw a video explaining the media literacy thing on the Acolyte, and it's like hilarious. They basically make the argument that we don't understand the Acolyte because the Acolyte is a slasher movie.
No. We don't understand the Acolyte because it wasn't made for you.
Yeah, totally. It's so silly. Like you have to properly identify the genre, otherwise all of your criticism are like if your movie is done so ineptly that people can't even tell what fucking genre it is, that's a you problem.
That's true. But I would be curious to talk to that guy because I think you have a very difficult. So we talked about that the Star Wars Acolyte does seem like it should be either a whodunit or some sort of like crime drama, but it's done very poorly. And we gave very clear examples of like how you should structure it if it was a whodunit or a crime drama.
Yes. Yeah.
We never brought up it being a slasher movie because to me, I think you have an incredibly uphill battle to try to explain how the fuck that show is supposed to be a slasher series. It does
Of
not seem to
course.
fit that genre even remotely. So I thought that was a very weird claim to make.
Yeah, slasher movies usually begin with a slashed up body and they're looking for the killer who did it.
Right. Or it's like, I mean, most slasher movies are horror movies where the protagonists are trying to escape from or defeat some sort of person and or creature, monster thing that is trying to kill them. That is like the classic slasher movie formula.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing like that is happening whatsoever in this series at all. Okay. So it's very strange.
The fourth episode, some slasher kind of guy shows up. So, but I mean, you can't go. I mean, you're 2 hours into this thing.
Yeah, but you can't. I think it'd be very bad argumentation to be like, anytime in a movie a bad guy shows up to kill you, that makes a slasher movie. Like when in Lord of the Rings, when the Witch King shows up to kill the king and his daughter is trying to fight him. I mean, it doesn't become a slasher movie because a monster showed up to kill somebody, right?
Yeah.
So
House of the Dragon is a slasher movie because they went after the kids.
right, exactly. Yeah, he's like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Boba Peck for $5. Thanks so much. Says I love how you title the video making fun of lefties, then you debunk the story from the right. Happy Acolyte Week 5 day. Gonna drink and play old Star Wars games instead. There you go. Well, the reason for that is that we had no plans what we were gonna do today. Adam just titled it randomly, and I 30 minutes before the stream was just started looking into the story because I thought it was interesting. So
yeah,
it's good clickbait.
We usually change the titles anyway. Look,
right.
if you guys see boring, it just means I don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
And I usually set up the stream, so. But I did change it. I think it's appropriate now. Boring research stream. Perfect.
There you go. Angry Man for 23 months says, in regard to the debate, what if you stream David Pakman's stream so you avoid directly streaming it yourself and you can respond to Pakman? Win-win. Oh my God.
Well, no, they're already saying, I saw a thing on Twitter that Breaking Points reached out to them and they said they were going to be striking down anyone who is streaming the debate live.
Ooh.
So we are not
okay.
going to be streaming the debate live. We're going to be watching it live and then coming on as soon as it's over to talk about it.
Dear Fox, I linked Simcast where he talked about speaking with YouTube and CNN about streaming the debate. Just giving you all a heads up, it may be too risky to do it live. Well, thank you. Okay, so it looks like Tim talked about it too. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because obviously this is going to be a big get for them. And I mean, to be fair, when people do live stream these debates, they are just stealing content like in viewership from the original people that are airing it. So it would
it's
make
not
sense
fair
that
use.
yeah, it is.
It's a substitute for the content in the marketplace. 100% a substitute.
Right. So, yeah, it's fair. It's fair that they strike people down for that. So, and thank you, Zero Fox, for that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll just do what we were doing before. Well, we'll just do right after the stream's over. We'll talk about it. Angerman for 23 months. Thanks so much. Says in regards to the oh, I read that one. That was the Pac-Man one. Metal Face Rose for $2 says, did you watch Turkey Tom Sargon video? I did. It was very weird. I don't know what sparked that video. Turkey Tom did sort of a I don't know
Is
if
it
it's
a
hit
hit piece?
I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really put Carl in a positive light. So I guess you could say it's a hit piece. It's kind of like a retrospective of like Carl's career on YouTube so far. Um, I watched it. I kind of thought it was boring because I knew like 95% of the stuff already because we kind of went through it. I thought it was cool that we get a visual shout out. Our channel doesn't get named, but he does play a clip of the visual of us with our channel name when we were talking to Carl about some hit piece that the Daily Mail or something put on him. So thank you for that, Turkey Tom. But I was okay. But I didn't find it really interesting because I knew most of the stuff. I wasn't really sure why like what sparked it existing in the first place. So, but it was fun to kind of go back and listen to like the history of all the skeptics and Carl and how all this stuff came into fruition. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I don't have Streamlabs on this at all. Was there any Streamlabs?
So I'm not sure. We're not monetized on our new channel. So if you guys want to send us any super chats, you'll have to do it through Streamlabs. So
yeah, when we're on Death of a Franchise channel, you'll have to use Streamlabs until that channel gets monetized. So.
But it should be monetized relatively quickly. So we're already over 1,000 subs, and you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time to get your channel monetized, and our average stream gets 4,000. Like this stream will probably get 4,000, over 4,000 hours of watch time. So
right. So remember tonight after Star Wars Acolyte, which airs at 9 p.m. Eastern, right? So we'll probably be on planning at 10 p.m. Eastern, right? Or are we just gonna like, yeah, okay. Or,
yeah, look, it should be in it. Like, I'm gonna watch it it's 6 my time. I'm gonna watch it right at 6. It should be like 30 minutes. So
okay,
I'll be ready to go like 45 minutes. Last time you were I don't know what you were doing. You were like taking notes or
okay. So no,
stopping because it was so horrible you had to throw up. Sitch.
There was two things. I was stopping because I had to throw up because it was so horrible. But it was also because I had, Disney Plus and Hulu had merged and they changed their pricing plan. And so I was like, I'll just take the pricing plan that has like the ads in it because it's $10 cheaper.
Why would you do that?
Oh my God. It was like a constant, there were so many 2-minute ad breaks in that episode. That's why I was like so far behind. So
wow. Okay.
So I upgraded the plan just to get rid of the ads. Yeah, I did. So
we're professionals.
So we'll be on at like 9:30, 9:45, 10, sometime in that, however long the episode is. So we'll be on right after. So join us on the Death of a Franchise channel.
Yeah, brand new. Should be fun. All right, that was a great show. Awesome. And see you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye.